and then to social services, and then social services bring these children to us. So all the babies you see there were abandoned babies. We started a home for babies about a little over 2 years ago, and so when babies are abandoned, they are brought to us. We take care of them until they are given up for adoption. And so these are some of our children in elementary school, and these are those in 2 to 5 year olds. And then we have those from first grade to ninth grade. And then we have some children in high school. Next slide. Okay, so these are, our high school is 10th through 12th grade. So first through sixth grade is what we call basic school. And then 7th through 9th grade is junior high school. And then 10th through 12th grade is high school. And after high school, you go to college. And so these are some of our girls in college. As I said, we have about 58 of them who are in college. And then these are some of the boys also in college. They all grew up as little children in the children's home, and now they are in college. And then we have some who are not able to go to college, but they learn a skill, a vocational skill. And so we have about 11 from the children's home who are learning the vocational skill. So we take them to the trade school. The trade school is mainly made up of teenagers from the street. But if you are from the children's home and you cannot go to college, then you go and learn a skill, and so you can be self-employed, and you can get a job to do as well. So we have about 11 of them. So this is our campus. We have a basketball court. We have the children's homes, and the top right is a chapel. It's a prayer chapel where the children and their parents go to pray, and we have small rooms there for private, prayers and Bible study as well. Next. Okay, so these are some of the house parents. We have 7 couples as house parents, and they take care of between 16, well, on average about 16 children. Some may have about 14, some may have 18, but each married couple are responsible for one home. We have 7 homes for the children, and so each married couple takes care of one home. So these are some of our house parents. The lady on the right takes care of one child who has multiple disabilities. This child, I've told a story here before, was abandoned in the bush to die, was rescued by a hunter who found her being eaten by black army ants, and she was sent to the police. They couldn't trace the family, and so the child was brought to us. But she has multiple disabilities, and she needs special attention. And so the lady on the right lives with her in a home, a 2-bedroom home, and she takes care of her. These are some of those who were baptized last year. And then the children, apart from going to school, engage in a lot of activities in the homes, artwork, devotions, and then the soccer. Next slide. Yes, and so they enjoy a lot of soccer. So whether the field is green with grass or is brown with dirt, we play soccer. We enjoy our soccer very, very much. Yes, and so about 2 years ago, we started a campaign to renovate some of the children's homes because they had been there for many years. The Boateng House was completed in 2001 and had not seen any renovation in 20 years. And so we were able to renovate that building completely. So this is the inside, the bedrooms of the children. Then so there's another house, the Chisholm House, that was also renovated. And then I think we have the Preston Crest House. that was also renovated. In all, we renovated 5 homes. And the Preston Crest House has 2 homes, House A, House B, and then the Boateng House, the Chisholm House, and then the Traverse City Church of Christ House. So these 5 were renovated last year for the children. Let's move on. Okay. Every year we have a homecoming around Christmas and the New Year. And so all the children in college come home, all those in high school come home, and those who are independent adults, are living on their own, they come home. Those who are married come with their spouses and their children. And so the whole Village of Hope is filled with people, and it's a fun time. We have a lot of fun and a lot to eat and have fellowship with each other. So this was our homecoming for 2022. So yeah, there's lots of food and drinks. So you can see the girl on the left, she is in college, and she's back. And the children from our second children's home, which is in the northeastern part of Ghana, there are 24 children over there. They all came down. It's an 18-hour drive, but they drove a bus for 18 hours. They came to join us on the main campus in the south. And those on the right are some of the children who came from our second children's home or second orphanage to be part of the New Year celebration. And children who do well throughout the year are given gifts. And so these are kids and their house parents. They receive gifts for good behavior and for good academic work in the course of the year. Okay, so our second children's home is called the Hope Children's Place. It's in Bongo. Bongo is way up north in Ghana on our northeastern border. It is very close, pardon me, it's very close to the Burkina Faso border. Ghana is bordered on the east by Togo, on the west by Ivory Coast, and in the north by Burkina Faso. And this children's home is way up in the north. We have 24 children in this home. If we can go to the next slide. Yes, so 2 of them are in high school, 2 are in college, and then the rest are little children in elementary school. And so those are the ones that we have. And yeah, these are some of the children that we have in the children's home in Bongo, our second children's home. And these are some of them who are all in the Upper East region of Ghana. Yes. Let's move on. So this is the campus. We have 3 cottages on this campus. We are currently using 2. The 3rd cottage is empty. As we bring in more children, we will hire another married couple as house parents, and hopefully before the end of the year, we'll fill that also with children. But currently we have 3 homes or cottages, but we are using only 2 for the 20 who live on campus. Yeah, so this is our campus in Bongo. So these are the children at the dining table. And on the left is the children having devotion. Every morning and every evening, every home at the Village of Hope have a family devotion. And so the parents and the children will gather around, usually around the dining table, and they will have a minimum of 30 minutes devotion as a family. And so this is some of the children in the homes in the Upper East region having their morning devotion. And then we have what we call a career day in Ghana. So children get to choose what career they hope to become, and then they dress like that. So if you want to be, you hope to be a pilot, you dress like a pilot. If you want to be a nurse, you dress like a nurse. If you hope to be a doctor, you dress like a doctor. So these are kids who usually from 1st grade through 12th grade, through high school, students wear uniform. So you have to wear a uniform. But on career day, you get to wear whatever career you choose to be. And so those are the children. Then we have the Hope Training Institute. That is our ministry to street teenagers. And right now we have about 37 teenagers who have been picked from the street, learning leather works, hairdressing, sewing, auto mechanics. There's also catering, but we don't have any catering students now. So all these are teenagers who live on the street that we go to the streets, we talk to them and convince them to learn a skill. And when they agree to move, we bring them to the Hope Training Institute where we teach them a skill. It takes about 2 to 3 years to train them. And we provide them with free food and free accommodation and free training. And when they are done, we give them tools that they can work with, and we give them a working capital so they can work independently. And so whilst they are in training, we also give them training in financial literacy. So they know, if I make a bag, how much do I sell it? And if I make a profit, how do I put aside some of the money? How do I invest and not spend all the money? And so we do train them, and then when they graduate, we help them to settle off the streets. They don't go back to the streets. We have social workers who follow up and make sure that they don't go back to the streets. So that is our vocational training school. These are some of them. All of these teenagers were on the street. And many come and go back because on the streets, they have their independence. On the streets, there are no controls. And so they are used to that life. So when we bring them to Hope Training Institute and insist on a structured life, you wake up at this time, you eat breakfast at this time, you go to class, many of them don't like that. And so some of them will just quit and they would go. But some stay and they get a skill, and then we help them to be independent and not to go back onto the streets. So that is our vocational training school. These are the instructors and social workers, administrators that work with them. It's a very difficult job because these kids have lived on the street. They live by the law of the jungle, the survival of the fittest. They are always fighting among each other, and it takes a lot of time, to calm them down and to train them and to change their character. So they do work very well. This is our workshop for hairdressing and leather works. Next slide. So this is our hairdressing workshop. So those who want to become hairdressers, they are trained here, and then when they graduate, we give them equipment so they can go to their community and start their own hairdressing salon and not go back to the streets. And then we have our leather works workshop. This is where we make our shoes and bags and products made out of leather. And so on the left is hairdressing. The right top is leather works. The right middle, that's auto mechanics training. And then the right bottom is clothing, sewing. So they learn to sew. Next, please. Next slide. Okay, so these are some of the teenagers who are in training. And they, of course, engage in other activities. One of the things we do is train them in artwork. We realize that many of them are very skillful in drawing. And so we have a teacher who teaches them artwork. And so on the left, they are practicing artwork. On the right top is playing soccer. And then they have a devotional every day. There's chapel. And so that was one of the chapel meetings. On Wednesday, there's Bible studies. And on Sundays, they have a worship service there on the campus as well. Last year, 8 of them graduated. And they sew their own graduation gowns. So for them to come off the street and then learn to sew, and those who learn to sew are able to sew graduation gowns. It's exciting. Next. So as I said, each graduating student or trainee receives tools and equipment. If you learn auto mechanics, we give you equipment to fix cars. If you learn hairdressing, we give you equipment to practice that. If you learn to sew, we give you a sewing machine. And so everybody is equipped to go out and work and not go back to the streets. And these are some of the artworks that they are able to do. All these are hand-drawn works that they are able to do. And these are some of their products, that they learn to make, bags and other products. Okay, so all these are made by the street teenagers who would have gone into a life of crime on the streets, but they come to Hope Training Institute and they learn skills. And we have the hospital. It started as a small facility, infirmary for the children with one nurse, but over the years it has grown to become a big county hospital, we call it a district hospital. And so we have 3 doctors and 2 physician assistants. Next slide, yeah. So we have 3 medical doctors and 2 physician assistants. On average, we have about 65 patients a day attending. The hospital has 76 beds for inpatient care. So it's a big 24-hour facility. About 30 babies are born in the hospital every month. It serves not only our county, but other counties nearby where the sick people come to the hospital to receive care. So these are some pictures of the hospital. So this is, on the left is the female ward, on the right is right top is the children's ward, and the right bottom is the male ward. But we have, this is just a section of that. And we have an eye clinic. That's the picture on the top left. And then a pharmacy in the top middle. On the bottom left, the gentleman standing on the left in the white coat is the pharmacist. And then one of the doctors is seated, the administrator and the accounts officer. And we have a laboratory also, so they can conduct medical investigation, laboratory work. So it's a big facility. And we have a NICU. The central region of Ghana, where we are located, has a population of about 3 million people. And there was only one facility, one hospital, that had a NICU, which is the state-owned or the government-owned hospital, the Cape Coast Hospital. That's the only one that had a NICU, 3 million people. And so many babies who are born prematurely die. I mean, to be born prematurely is basically a death sentence. And so we started the second NICU, and now people from other places, babies that are born prematurely, are referred to our NICU, and many lives have been saved. So that's, and then we had a prematurity week last year to educate people that if you have a premature baby, it doesn't mean the baby will die. If you can bring the baby to the hospital, we would help try to save the baby's life. And so we went through the communities and talked to people about that. But we also had a group of medical doctors, actually trainers from Savannah, Georgia, who came to train our staff. They work in the NICU over there, and they came to train our staff, and other staff from other hospitals also came for 1 week of training. And so that was the prematurity week. So the top pictures are part of the training, and the bottom pictures are when we went to the public to educate them about, helping premature babies. So that was part of our prematurity week celebration. So we have 3 schools, 2 elementary schools. Hope Christian Academy is one, which has a current population of 544 students, from 2-year-olds all the way to 9th grade. Next, please. Okay, so there's one of the elementary school classes, and then the little children also. So this is part of what I call the career day. So those on the right, that's the dress for, or the uniform for nurses in Ghana. So those three girls want to be nurses. So they come to school dressed like nurses. Nurse. And here, they want to be, the middle one wants to be a nurse, and then a doctor on the right and a surgeon on the left. The top right is a police woman. She wants to be a police, and so she's dressed in a police uniform. And then down there you see some dressed like in the military uniform, some airline stewardess, and one in the middle with a black and a white wig. That's a judge or a lawyer. You know, it's an old British system that we still keep in Ghana. So the judges and the lawyers wear the white wig. So you can see that child there. And this is, once again, soccer in school. Children just love to play that. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our elementary school building, 18 classrooms. When I first came to Granville, my first visit, I made an appeal to the elders and to the church to help us build this building. We were trying to start our elementary school, and we needed a building. It took us 7 years to build, but you helped us, and now we have an 18 classroom facility for the elementary school. This is our boys' dormitory for the elementary school, and I don't know if you know the people there, but we named the boys' dormitory the Ked and Shannon Zandervan building. We actually wanted to name it the Shannon building, but we had mercy on Ked and we put his name in part of it, you know. So this is a boys' dormitory for mainly students from about 5th grade through the 9th grade in the elementary school. We also have a girls' dormitory as well. And then we have a second school in the eastern region of Ghana called Hope Ray School. That school has 306 students up to 9th grade. So we'll show you some pictures of that. So that is the school. The school has 3 buildings, 1 building for the pre-KG and KG kids, 1 building for 1st to 6th grade, and then 1 building for 7th to 9th grade. So this is a classroom at Hope Ray School. This is children on Cultural Day displaying the culture. So they dress in the traditional clothing and they display the culture of the tribes they come from. So it helps to bring all the tribes together because Ghana is made up of many tribes and we speak about 40 different dialects and languages. And so when you have a cultural day, you educate other people about your tribe and your culture, and it helps to integrate the nation into one. Thankfully, we haven't had any tribal wars among the tribes. We live at peace with each other. And schools help, especially when it's a boarding school. People from different tribes meet in the dormitory and they become friends. And so it helps to bridge the tribes together. Okay, so this is the nursery school. This is for 2 years to 5-year-olds. And then the next picture is, this is the junior high school, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade classroom. Then Hope College is our high school, which is now 10 years old. We started the high school, as I said, because we are so many kids going to high school in different places. And they came back home, their character was changing, their behavior was changing, and we decided to have our own high school. And now it's 10 years old. Now the high school has a total enrollment of 398. We build with bricks. The high school is built with bricks. So this is the high school campus. The picture in the middle is our practical education building, where we have physics, chemistry, biology, practical work. We have a kitchen for the catering students. We have a sewing room for those learning to sew. And we have a computer lab. And we have a music studio and an art studio over there. The bottom picture was the assembly hall. That's the assembly hall at the bottom. And then the next one is our infirmary, where students fall sick and they they get taken care of. So we have a school nurse. When the students fall sick, they go to the infirmary and the school nurse takes care of them. If it is beyond what a nurse can do, then they are transferred to the hospital. And so we have 20 beds in there, 10 beds for boys and 10 beds for girls. So these are pictures from the high school, and the good news is the high school is now self-financing. We give full scholarship to all the children from the orphanage that go to the high school. So there are about 33 children from the orphanage who go to the high school for free. Then people from the community, about 12 students from the community, also attend the high school for free. And then people who are economically not able to support their children go to high school also get to go on scholarship. And we have a special scholarship for ministers of the Churches of Christ, their children. They also go on half scholarship. But apart from giving all these scholarship, then the others who are able to pay, they then pay. And so about 17% of our students are on scholarship. And then the remaining 83% pay. And from what they pay, we're able to run the school. We pay our teachers, we pay our electricity and water and utility bills, and it's a boarding school, so we feed all the students 3 meals a day. And last year we broke even. This year we are going to make a surplus. The high school will make a surplus, and that money will be donated to the children's home for the feeding and care of the children. And that is part of our goal to be self-supporting. So right now the high school is self-supporting, and the hospital is self-supporting, self-financing. And our hope is that our 2 elementary schools in the next 2 years will also become self-financing. And so now a child from the orphanage can go to school from 2 years all the way to 12th grade on full scholarship. And then they go to college, and then we have to support them over there. But we are working towards becoming self-supporting. And we are happy that the hospital and the high school are now self-financing. And now the high school is even going to make a surplus just from the fees that people pay. So these are our teachers. Every teacher in the high school is a graduate with a bachelor's degree. That's the minimum requirement. To teach in the high school, you must have a bachelor's degree. And we have a few who have their master's degrees who teach there. Yesterday, I was called because we have closed enrollment for our 10th grade students, and people still want to bring their children, and there is no space. And it's because last year, our students did very well in the national exam. In Ghana, at the end of 12th grade, all 12th graders write an exam, and that determines who goes to college. And our students did excellently well in the exam, and so now people want to bring their kids to our school. And for the first time in 10 years, we have to close enrollment. And so it's looking very good. Next year, there will be more trouble because more people want to bring their children than we have space for. But it's a good problem to have. So these are students. They are all students of the high school. And we have what we call the cadets. It's a police cadet. So we train them, or they learn. It's like a club. They learn policing duties and all of that. And then we have a band, a school band, where music is part of the curriculum for those who choose to, and so they support that. So next slide, please. Okay, so we were able to complete some projects last year. We completed a 6-unit apartment building for staff. Especially in the high school, when you have almost 400 teenagers, you need many teachers on campus to be able to take care of those teenagers. So that enables more teachers to live on campus so that they help to control the students. Because classes are from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. After 3 p.m., most teachers leave for home. So we needed more teachers on campus who will help us manage the students. And then we made an appeal last year, towards the end of the year, for help to buy a 5-acre property, which was next to our property, which came up for sale. Some people wanted to buy it and use it for commercial activities, which would have caused a lot of noise and disturbance, and so we needed to buy that property. And with your help, we were able to buy that property, and we've put a wall around it. We have just completed a baby's home that would be a national center for abandoned babies. So from April, we would expand our activities to the whole nation. Right now, the babies we care for come from only the central region of Ghana. But with this new home, which will be able to take 40 babies, 40 babies, now we can bring babies, abandoned babies, from all over the country. And so that is going to be quite a challenge. We are trusting God to help us with that. We are in the process of completing a second baby's home, which will be for babies with special needs. Usually when babies are born and the parents find they have special needs, they abandon them to die. And so we want to save those babies. We want to care for those babies. We've never done this before. We have only one child with special needs, but now we are going to expand that and help many more babies and children. So we need your prayers because it's going to be a challenge to be able to care for those babies. Next slide, please. So this is the apartment building for teachers. So it's 6 units for teachers. And then this is the land that we bought, 5 acres of property. If you look on the right of the picture, you see some pillars. That is the end of our original property. So the pillars on the right was the end of our property. And then this land became available for sale, so we bought it to add to our property. Next slide. And then we built a wall. The blue and white building on the left, that's the 3-story elementary school building. And our property ends there with that building. But now we've expanded. This wall is now part of our property. We built a wall to protect the property. So you can see the wall over protecting the 5 acres that we purchased. So that's a very long wall that we built to protect the property. If you don't do that, people will encroach upon your land, and you have to go to court. But once you buy land and you put a fence or you put a wall around it, you keep away encroachers and you keep away from going to court. So, and so the building on the right is what we will use from April for the babies. And then the one on the left will be completed, Lord willing, on March 31. That will be for babies with special needs. And so we are going to expand on that work. We're going to have many, many babies and children there, and we need your prayers and your support to be able to take care of them. So right now we have 58 children in college. And when I went to college, we used the typewriter. We did not need a computer. But now the kids keep coming to me, we need a laptop, and for schoolwork. And I know they need it, but we don't have it. So on this trip, I'm trying to raise money to buy 58 laptops. So if you want to buy us one laptop, we will be grateful. A laptop averages about $400. But if you have a very good one to donate as well, it has to be in good condition where a college student can use. We will be grateful for that. We have to figure out how to take it to Ghana, but we will figure that out. But we need help to be able to give each of the college students a laptop. And then, as I said, we are going to help babies across the country, and we need help with that. But more importantly, social services usually does not have a vehicle to bring the children to us. And so they will call, and we have to go bring the children. So we're trying to buy a truck that will be able to bring the children from all over the country. So when we get a call that a baby is 10 hours away, we can send a nurse, a social worker, and a driver to go bring that baby. And so thank you very much, and God bless you. I think my time is up. So
That's a huge expansion since you've been here 20 years ago.
yes, that's true. So, okay. All right. Thank you very much.